Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by Lou DiBella for the latest edition of DiBella's Digest. And Lou, have to ask, how has your week been?
Absolute dog shit. That's how my week has been. And then that's no exaggeration. You know, I had office staff already in Florida, got off the plane. And by the time as they got off the plane, it came on social media. That's how I learned it, that Teofimo Lopez had tested positive for COVID-19, and a mega payday for both fighters was postponed. I'm going to be optimistic that it's going to happen on a rescheduled date that I believe they set for August 14th. But I have to admit, it does seem that this event has had a lot of negative energy around it. So I'm just praying to God that everything goes smoothly between now and then. I'm also hoping that, because I know Lopez is actually symptomatic, so I'm hoping that he's well enough to fight, that the fight can happen August 14th.
Yeah, I mean, we hope it's not long COVID, because that can keep you out for much, much longer, as the name suggests. How disappointed are you, not just that the fight's collapsed for the moment, but for that reason as well, because it does seem avoidable?
I mean, I'm really perplexed how with the availability of the vaccine in this country to everyone, it's been out there for a while, that both fighters, neither fighter was vaccinated. I know that, I know that George's manager, Peter Khan, and myself both spoke to him and tried to encourage him not to put a windfall at risk and get vaccinated, but he didn't get vaccinated. Though I have to say that George pretty much sequestered himself heavily. I mean, he wasn't going out in public. He wasn't going to events. But it's shocking to me that both fighters and their teams weren't fully vaccinated. This was a windfall payday, and everyone in the industry knew that. Triller, bid extraordinary money for this event, and Triller lost extraordinary money this week because most people were flown out already. They rented a stadium, and you can't get insurance for COVID. So their losses this week were uninsured, and I feel badly for them. Could they have tried to insist that the fighters be vaccinated? They probably could have attempted, but frankly, as a lawyer, I can tell you that, in the United States, at least, the court's not going to, no one's going to order someone to take a needle in their arm. That's why there are so many unvaccinated people in America right now. New York has returned largely to normal this week. I mean, the bigger outdoor venues are all open to full capacity. Most indoor venues are opening with much fewer restrictions. Some of the smaller venues haven't reopened yet. I haven't been able to resume Broadway boxing yet, but by September, I think you'll see smaller venues even reopening. But New York's at 70-something% full vaccination. That's not the case in a lot of this country. So, but I am perplexed. Athletes knowing they have a major, potentially irreplaceable payday, not getting vaccinated perplexes me.
From your side's point of view, so the Kambosos side, what feedback, if any, did you get from George about why he was reluctant to have the vaccine?
I think he was concerned about having a negative reaction in training camp, interrupting his training, whatever. I don't really know. I don't know what, I'm not Australian, and I'm, his family, his whole family and everyone are in Australia. I mean, I know they totally shut their country down, but I don't know whether everyone there has been vaccinated. So I don't know if that's the norm there or not. I mean, to be honest with you, I hadn't spoken to George that many times since the purse bid occurred. But we did have a long conversation on this subject. I gave him my point of view. He was respectful about it, but to my knowledge, I don't think he was vaccinated either. I know Teofimo wasn't, from what I've heard also. And it's just perplexing to me. Protect your interests. People, people aren't dying or growing horns or or a third ear from the vaccine, and you're protecting yourself, and you're to a degree protecting others too. And I'm going to guess that if they both could do it again right now, seeing what happened here, I'm going to guess that they would get vaccinated, but who knows?
And Triller have bounced back, you could say, by announcing an event on September the 11th, featuring the return of the Golden Boy. He's been hinting Oscar De La Hoya at coming back for some time.
Oh yeah,
now it's in the books.
I've been waiting with bated breath, and I don't know what life would be like if Oscar De La Hoya didn't come out of retirement to fight. Look, it is what it is, and Oscar was one of the biggest stars in boxing history, and if there are people that want to see him fight Vitor Belfort, then God bless him. Again, my belief on this kind of thing. It's if I guess if it makes dollars for these guys and for Triller, it makes sense. I'm not going to be negative about it. I mean, there's going to be a strange curiosity on a lot of people's part, I think, to see what Oscar looks like in a ring against anybody. If they put enough good boxing on the card, I wouldn't even discount the possibility that I would watch. But I mean, I'm not sitting here waiting with bated breath for it. But look, Oscar's a superstar in the sport. I do think there'll be curiosity. I mean, I'm not a big enough MMA fan, I am sort of more of an MMA fan now than I've ever been, but I don't know anything much. I guess Vitor Belfort is a sort of an old, another guy that's more of an old, established sort of like semi-retired kind of name, but I'm not that familiar with it. I mean, if anything, I'm just more curious to see what Oscar De La Hoya looks like in a ring against anybody. But look, if people want to buy it, buy it. I'm not going to go out there unless I think something is really inherently dangerous. And again, I don't think this is. I mean, they're both going to be pretty big. A 20-pound difference when one guy weighs 175 and the other weighs in the 190s is not that big a deal. Obviously, De La Hoya is actually, if I'm Belfort, I think he's the one that should be worried. But I don't, in a 2-minute round, 8-round exhibition between these guys, I don't inherently think there's a huge health and safety kind of risk to it. And if people want to buy it, God bless them. And if Triller puts enough, I heard it's going to be part of a huge concert weekend, that they're going to be major music acts. Look, if there's major music acts and some good real boxing, they may be able to do well. And I'm not going to criticize it. I want to see, look, I selfishly, I want to see Triller make it, and I want to see them stay in boxing to some degree.
Is De La Hoya doing it because he misses the limelight? Is he doing it for money? Is he doing it for opportunities for other Golden Boy fighters potentially? What's his motivation, do you think?
Okay, you laid out A, B, and C very effectively, but you left out D. You left out D, which is all of the above.
Yeah.
He's doing it because he misses the limelight. Fighters fight. They always have it in the back of their head to fight. I mean, I have my buddy. I mean, I love Enzo Macronelli. He's an old friend of mine, a paisano. We bond over our mutual Italianness. But I know he really wants to get back in the ring, and he thinks that maybe this Triller stuff gives him an opportunity. I mean, and I've heard that from. I mean, I got calls from Glenn McCrory, who has the same thoughts, and and honestly, I you don't see me downing these guys or making fun of them, because fighters are fighters, man. That's who they are. Fighters fight. That's what they know. I mean, I don't love the seniors tour because I think it's a little bit dangerous, but I get it, and I'm not going to criticize the guys for wanting to get in on the action. I'm not going to criticize Oscar for wanting to get on the action. I'm not going to criticize Oscar for wanting money. I'm also not going to criticize Oscar for wanting opportunity for his fighters. I get all of that, and I do think the answer is all of the above.
And do you think there will be opportunities for Golden Boy as a whole on Triller? Because I know they've got the deal with DAZN, but
I don't think Triller's looking to compete with DAZN or ESPN or PBC in real boxing. I think they're looking to be a multi multi-discipline, or whatever you want to call it, multi-platform kind of entertainment thing. You know what I mean? I don't think they're looking to compete with Arum or Al Heyman or Eddie Hearn, you know? So do I think that there's going to be a great opportunity that Oscar's going to move his stable to Triller? No. But do I think Oscar's going to get a couple of his fighters onto the card he's going to fight on, and that he already has a couple of fighters on the card, the Teofimo Kambosos card, probably also by virtue of his relationship with Ryan Kavanaugh and Triller. So I think it's going to inure to the benefit of some of Golden Boy's fighters, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Good stuff. Well, Lou, really appreciate your time. I hope you have a better week.
I need to have a better fucking week next week. So I hope I answer the question differently when we speak next week.
Yeah, maybe I won't ask it. Maybe I'll check in advance.
Good talking to you, Danny. Have a good weekend.
And you, Lou. Take care.